Do you think that they're canceling the show because this is what President Trump wanted to let this merger go through?
No. I mean, it's pretty. Look at the reporting on this. On and off the record, executives all over are saying, we had to do it for financial reasons. This is a massive show with a massive staff. It's losing a massive amount of money. This is the nature of the TV business right now. You just are not economically viable if you're supposed to be doing a comedy show that's not funny, that's losing $50 million a year. I mean, only liberals, extreme liberals, would think that we have to keep subsidizing partisan rants every night that are economically not viable just because. Why? It makes absolutely no financial sense. He works for a for-profit company. Don't you have to turn a profit at some juncture? And he's not doing it. And, you know, there's a lot of people in this general business right now who think that I exist to go after Donald Trump at all costs, but no one stops to think, do I exist to make money or not? Maybe these things aren't compatible when you cut out half the country from your possible audience.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we got to continue our coverage of the fallout that is currently happening in the mainstream liberal media over Stephen Colbert losing his job, getting fired from the late night show because of his poor job performance, right? That's essentially what it comes down to. The show is not making money, but for whatever reason, this is a very hard concept for liberals, Democrats, socialists to comprehend, right? Which kind of makes sense because if socialists actually could comprehend money or business or profitability, then they wouldn't be socialists, right? And this is what you have to deal with when your party is full of socialists, people who don't understand basic business, okay? And one of these individuals who is currently upset about Stephen Colbert being fired is his colleague, Jon Stewart, who hosts another failing liberal late night show, The Daily Show, which probably doesn't make money as well, which is why before Stephen Colbert was fired, before the announcement was made, you had Jon Stewart openly kind of musing about the possibility of The Daily Show getting axed.
What do we got? What do the listeners want to know this week?
First up, John, do you think that Skydance would get rid of The Daily Show after the merger goes through?
Skydance, the company that's coming in?
Yes.
Boy, that's a good question. I have, unfortunately, we haven't heard anything from them. They haven't called me and said, like, don't get too comfortable in that office, Stuart. But let me tell you something. I've been kicked out of shittier establishments than that. We'll land on our feet. No, I honestly don't know. I mean, I think I'd like to believe that, like, without The Daily Show, I don't know. Comedy Central is kind of like Muzak at this point. I think we're the only sort of in like life that exists on a current basis, other than like South Park
Reruns of The Office.
But it's the only thing on there. I'd like to think we bring enough value to the property. Like if they're looking at it as purely a real estate transaction, I think we bring a lot of value. But that may not be their consideration. I don't know. They may sell the whole fucking place for parts. I just don't know. And we'll deal with it when we do. But I'm so happy and proud of everybody that works over there. Like, they want to do that, knock themselves out. Well, as Jay Leno would say about Doritos, go ahead, crunch all you want. We'll make more. So we'll figure that out when the time comes and where we have to do it. But like I say, that is I have no knowledge. We've all got a surmisal about like who actually is owning it and what his ideology is, but ideology may not play a part. I just don't know.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Now, what I found to be fascinating about what Jon Stewart said there, and again, keep in mind, this was said before the news about Stephen Colbert being fired, right? Is that he openly acknowledged that this could come down to a business decision. Skydance, which is merging with Paramount, the new ownership could decide that, hey, you know what? We're going to sell everything. It's a business decision, right? He also openly acknowledges that he doesn't know if politics plays a role. So keep in mind, this is what he said before the Stephen Colbert firing, right? He acknowledged that there's a business landscape that could result in him losing his show because of business reasons, right? Reasons outside of politics, right? But now his tune has changed, okay? He decided to go full-blown ass clown on The Daily Show in response to Stephen Colbert being fired, because at this point, this guy is just a minstrel show for far-left liberals and not a real serious person, right? He's not a real serious person. And that definitely came through in his response to the Stephen Colbert firing, again, on his own show. Take a look.
Stephen Colbert is refusing to back down after news broke that CBS would be canceling The Late Show in May of 2026. The host is one of the most watched shows in late night TV, taking aim at Donald Trump, plus skewering CBS and Paramount for its $16 million settlement with Trump.
Over the weekend, somebody at CBS followed up their gracious press release with a gracious anonymous leak saying they pulled the plug on our show because of losses pegged between $40 million and $50 million a year. $40 million is a big number. I could see us losing $24 million, but where would Paramount have possibly spent the other $16 million? Oh, yeah.
And other late night hosts across networks are backing Colbert. Here's Jon Stewart's take.
So here's the point. If you're trying to figure out why Stephen's show is ending, I don't think the answer can be found in some smoking gun email or phone call from Trump to CBS executives or in CBS's QuickBooks spreadsheets on the financial health of late night. I think the answer is in the fear and pre-compliance that is gripping all of America's institutions at this very moment. Institutions that have chosen not to fight the vengeful and vindictive actions of our pubic hair doodling commander-in-chief. This is not the moment to give in. Go fuck yourself! Wait, bring it down. Let's bring it down. Let it be quiet. Yourself, just go yourself, everybody!
CBS and Paramount insist the cancellation was financially motivated, but many are, of course, skeptical. Senator Ed Markey asking Paramount if the Trump administration is using its regulatory authority to influence or otherwise pressure your company's editorial decisions. Similarly, 3 other Democratic senators asking the head of Skydance Media about Trump's claims about a side deal. Today, Trump claiming that, quote, we also anticipate receiving $20 million more from the new owners in advertising, PSAs, or similar programming.
That's why people are reacting the way that they are.
No, I understand the emotional feelings, but I don't have an MBA. But he's not right that the merger, the $8 billion, is based on reruns of a comedy show. No, people are buying the movies and the sitcoms and the sports. They're not based on reruns of us either. So I think he's wrong about that.
He's saying that it contributed to it.
He's saying it's all encompassing, the total package of it.
That already happened in the past. And he also acknowledged that these late night shows are what he called like a blockbuster kiosk inside a tower record. So the business is broken. And what no one seems to acknowledge is that the politics also changed. The business changed and so did the politics. And it got way more one-sided than anything Johnny Carson was ever doing. I think we should reflect on those changes as well. It's been a big shift culturally in that regard also.
I hear you, but I think many people feel there's another way to do it. You know, it's a very difficult position to be in, but to disagree with something that company's doing, but also still loving your job and loving what you do. I really feel for Stephen Colbert. I think
feel for the whole staff of both those shows and whatever comes next for everybody.
I do too.
I think people will miss those shows when they're gone.
Yes.
That's the bottom line.
No doubt. And I don't believe that he's going anywhere when it comes to this industry. He's going to land somewhere for sure.
All right, let's talk about
But if you haven't seen Jon Stewart's monologue, it's worth
it is indeed.
Yeah. So again, like I told you guys the last time I covered this topic, we're in full-blown Blue Anon territory, right? That's where we're at right now. Okay. I don't know why is it so hard for liberals to accept the fact that CBS is losing money on The Late Show, right? I mean, they came out and said, listen, guys, we're losing $40 to $50 million a year. And liberals are basically still asking questions about why the show was canceled when there are 50 million reasons for why the show was canceled that is right in front of your face. But they cannot let go of this Blue Anon conspiracy theory that somehow, some way, this has something to do with President Trump and trying to appease Trump, when there's no evidence whatsoever to support this theory. There's none at all. And that's the hilarious part about it. These liberals really believe that CBS is supposed to lose $40 to $50 million a year on a show because they have to, quote unquote, fight Trump, right? That's clearly what Jon Stewart believes. Lose money to fight Trump, right? Now, people like him, these late night comedians who apparently are not as profitable as they used to be, clearly he's concerned because the writing's on the wall. He's probably next, okay? He's probably next up. And, you know, hey, they like getting paid while the company loses, right? When it comes to the bottom line, right? They like having a nice, cushy salary, right? While the company loses money. They don't give a damn about that. So I kind of understand why he's crashing out, why he's raging. But, again, to pretend as if this is not about money is crazy to me, right? It's very disingenuous because if they were actually making money, let's say they were actually pulling in $40 to $50 million a year on the show, do you think that they would cancel the show? No, they wouldn't cancel the show. If the show is profitable, they wouldn't cancel the show. But also on top of that, the show is not even effective for what these people want the show to be around for, right? Because essentially, again, their argument is that, well, even though CBS is losing $40 to $50 million a year, they should still keep the show around to fight Trump, right? But how effective are these late night comedians when Trump just won the election? Trump just won the election. And they've been talking about Trump every night for the past 10 years straight. And Trump just won. So again, how effective are they really? Seriously, right? That's actually a really good question. Are these people actually effective at what you want them to do, right? The propaganda that clearly Democrats and the liberal media are admitting that they're for, right? Which, I mean, by the way, why are Democrats so upset about this, right? Like, what does this have to do with the Democrat Party? The Democrats are demanding investigations. It's almost as if they know that these late night comedians are a form of propaganda for them, right? Otherwise, why would they care? For what reason, right? Like, why does it matter that they're canceling Stephen Colbert? What does that have to do with the Democrats? Outside of the fact that these so-called comedians are really propagandists, right? And Democrats and liberals expect companies to lose money to fight Trump, right? Lose money to fight Trump. That's what they expect. And companies are not going to do that. They've clearly forgotten that these entities are for profit, okay? That's why you see these same companies, they're moving away from wokeness. They're moving away from a lot of things because the culture has shifted. They realized, okay, maybe it's more profitable for us to not be so Trump deranged. Maybe it's more profitable for us to not be so woke, right? Maybe it's more profitable for us to appeal to sane people rather than liberal extremists. And I think that's the decision that's being made here. And instead of accepting reality, which is that this is a product of the fact that you're losing the culture war now, that the pendulum has swung the other way, they can't accept that. They come up with all these crazy conspiracy theories in order to explain something that is very simple to explain. Stephen Colbert is losing money. The show is losing money. They're not making money off of it. Late night in general is in decline, right? Late night comedy is in decline, okay? These type of political comedy shows, they're in decline, okay? Streaming is king. Advertising dollars are going to other platforms. They're going to other places. And companies are evolving. That's what happens in business, right? They evolve, okay? They go wherever the money's going. Stephen Colbert's not bringing in the money. Jon Stewart is probably not bringing in the money. So as a result, they're going to lose their jobs. But if they got real talent, then they shouldn't be worried about it, right? If they got real talent, they should be able to adapt as well too and to thrive on their own. I'm sure they'll be fine. I mean, they made millions and millions of dollars over the years. I'm sure they'll be fine. If they got a good financial advisor, a decent one, they'll be fine, right? It's not like they're going to starve. But if you listen to these people, right, it's a tragedy. Oh God, this is terrible. Stephen Colbert being fired. Oh, God, right? Such a scandal, corruption, right? Which, again, is why I think that the Trump administration should deny the merger, right? It would be hilarious. That would be the funniest thing if they denied the merger. It would be hilarious because all these people have egg on their face pushing this, peddling this conspiracy that, well, all this was done to get the merger to go through, right? If they deny the merger, what then? Right? What then? Right? What are you going to say? What they'll do is that they'll turn around and see, this is why you should have capitulated to Trump. You were trying to capitulate to Trump, and he still screwed you anyways, right? That's what they'll say. So again, it's really damned if you do, damned if you don't. In their minds, all of this is about Trump. Apparently, Trump is God King now, right? Trump is all powerful, and all of these media outlets, they're folding, they're capitulating to Trump, they're bending over backwards for Trump. Where the reality is that big Trump deranged 24/7 is just not as profitable as it used to be, right? The viewership is leaving. Look at CNN. Look at some of these networks. Post-election, what happened to them? Instead of acknowledging the changing landscape, instead of acknowledging the reality, which is that what worked during Trump's first administration is not going to work during this administration. No, they just refuse to accept it, and they come up with everything, all of these theories outside of what clearly is happening, right? The real answer here, which is that this stuff is not profitable anymore. They want to believe everything else except the truth because they can't accept the truth, right? They just can't accept it. And it's really funny to me. It really is. So, yeah, I think Jon Stewart sees the writing on the wall. This dude's a child. Can you guys believe that there are progressives on the left side of the aisle that want this man to be president? They're saying that that guy should consider running for president. It's laughable at this point. Just like the whole Democrat Party. Laughable. So, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.